Good morning, good morning. The sun is shining. Oh wait, fuck. The sun is not shining. It's cold, gray, dark, and dank. Dank. I like the word of that. Reminds me of... I like the word of that. I like the sound of that word. Dank. So what is the topic of this here live video? The topic of this live video is... modern women. Liberated sexually? Question mark. Do you think that modern women are truly liberated sexually? What does that even mean to you? So this is the tricky part about doing a live video versus an interview video where you actually have somebody on the other line that's like adding to the commentary. This morning I am sitting here having these thought processes after, well, I think about random weird things. And so literally I'm thinking about men and whether or not they really want to have sex. Isn't that funny? You would think that like men would automatically want to have sex. You would think that that would be like a thing. But I don't think that men really want to have sex. I think that they talk about wanting to have sex, but I don't think they really want to. I think that most men like the idea of sex versus the actual action of it. Maybe I'm wrong though. I could be very wrong. So this morning I was listening to a YouTube video. It was like a podcast episode between these two gentlemen who were talking about women you want to marry versus a woman you would rather sleep with. And where is the line there? Like, what makes a man decide that he wants a woman to be his wife or to be his lifelong partner or even his long-term partner? What is it about a woman that makes a man crazy in love? And what is love anyway? These are things that fascinate me, these kind of topics. Oh, by the way, this is a good book. I'm giving this book to my mom for Christmas. She might have already read it, but I've read it a couple times. I like this book. It's a good movie. The book is really good, though. Interesting writing style. Very descriptive. So anyways, back to women and men and whether or not whether or not women can truly be liberated sexually. And to me, a liberated sexual woman would be being able to be sexually empowered and take control of what you want and need in that regard without there being a negative fallout or connotation. So in other words, if a person is truly liberated, they should be able to sleep with somebody and have it not turn into something bad, right? Is that a good way of describing sexual liberation? Being maybe the ability to choose who you want? I don't know. I kind of look at it like this. When I was a young person, the advice that I was given is keep your legs closed. Keep your legs closed. Guys will say anything to get down your pants. They just want to have sex with you. That was the advice that my dad gave me, actually. My dad said, don't be a slut. He was like, if you are a slut, I'm not going to want to talk to you ever again. And that's one of the things I love about my dad. My dad has a way with words. It's very offensive. My dad talks and gives life wisdoms in the most offensive manner possible. And so when I was young, consequently, I really despised and hated my dad because every time he opened his mouth, it was like word vomit. It was like, can't you say the same thing more eloquently? But no, my dad's wisdom for me was keep your legs slut, keep your legs slut, keep your legs shut, don't be a slut, be a lady, always, be gracious, be kind, be good, treat people the way that you would like to be treated, always with respect, good manners, and grace, and if you disgrace me and dishonor my name by making poor choices and acting like a heathen, my dad was very, 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 very blunt about the fact that he simply would want nothing to do with me. And he was like, this is the thing about love. Love is not something that's just automatically going to be there just because you're owed something, because the world doesn't owe you anything. I guess that's just it, as I was kind of raised that love is something that you earn. And so this is the tricky part. So I'm listening to this podcast with these two men today. Don't you love how, like, you don't have anything visual to look at? Just close your eyes and listen to the sound of my voice, okay? So I was listening to this podcast by these two men, and they're talking about women that you want to marry versus a woman that you just have, like, crazy, passionate desire sexually for. And wouldn't it be amazing if you could find a woman that you have crazy, passionate sexual desire for, and you actually like spending time with her and can envision a future? Isn't that, like, that would be, like, the perfect scenario, right? You would find a woman that matches all the characteristics that you're looking for, especially in the passion department. But it's interesting because as I was listening to these two men talk about this topic, by the way, I posted their YouTube video on my Facebook wall just in case you want to listen to it. He's the first guy starts talking about this woman, this Brazilian woman. I think she is from Brazil. I don't know. I'd have to listen. So some beautiful, ethnic woman, and that he was having amazing sex with, and he fell madly in love with her, and he was like, never thought of himself as the kind of guy that would want to be thinking about marriage. But after 18 months with this girl and having all this amazing sex, and she had this great family and this smoking hot body, and she was just so amazing, he actually started thinking about marriage. He was like talking, he was like, I was running down the road with my jogging shoes, and I was actually envisioning my wedding. And so that's weird to me, because I can't imagine a guy envisioning a wedding, like thinking about like what tux he's gonna wear, like the colors. That's so weird to me. Like I guess that just is. I have a hard time actually imagining that men get like that. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a bit jaded. I don't know. I haven't really figured out what I think about that yet. But I will say that I'm interested in learning and understanding the way that men really think. Do men really want to have sex with women they don't care about? Do they really? And does sex actually lead to caring? So the first guy, as he's talking about this Brazilian woman that's amazing in bed, that has all these great attributes, he starts thinking about his marriage. And she, on the other hand, so he's giddy for her, she's like, yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work out for me. And then ultimately, she broke up with him. And then he was heartbroken. But here's the thing. The guy knew the girl for 18 months. And that's the thing about, so I was married for 17 years. 18 months is like, you're barely even born in 18 months. You don't even know the person yet. And what love really is, it's not all the lusty stuff in the beginning. Of course, the beginning is always magical. It's kind of like when you have a kid, like when you have a baby. Like, as soon as you find out that you're pregnant and you're all excited and you're like imagining, oh, the baby's gonna come and it's gonna be so great. I've always wanted to be a parent. Finally, I've had this milestone moment. And then the baby's born and the baby's really great and the baby, like, is everything you dreamed of, but the baby also shits all the time, the baby also cries all the time, the baby also needs things all the time. See what I'm saying? The baby's a responsibility, the baby's always a thing. And while the baby's great, the baby was almost better when it was just something that you imagined. So the moral of the story is don't ever have sex, don't ever fall in love, and absolutely whatever you do, do not have a baby. No, actually, that's not the moral of the story. But a man actually truly loving somebody. What is that thing that makes a man fall madly in love with somebody? Is it truly the magical chemistry, sexual desire in the beginning? And then what happens when that starts to wane and then real life starts to unfold? And then there's things like paying the bills and you know, new jobs and job loss and tragedies and, you know what I mean? Like, even boredom. How does a relationship survive boredom? Big sighs all the way around. This is why, so here's the thing. I'm single and I'm choosing currently to be celibate, which means absolutely no sex. And part of the reason why I'm choosing to be celibate is I actually have experimented with the whole liberated sexual woman thing. I was like, I can be a modern woman, and this is what I'll do. I'll just find a lover until I find somebody that I love. That seemed like really logical to me. I'll just find a lover until I find somebody that I love. Except for it doesn't really work that way. It really doesn't. It doesn't work that way at all, actually. First of all, sex with somebody that you don't love and you're not inspired by, it is absolutely terrible. It's not good at all. You might as well... It really just isn't good. Sex is only good with somebody that you're really, really into and they're really, really into you. And usually when you have those two magical components, a lot of other really cool things fall in line. So I'm choosing to be celibate. Have I chosen to stray off of that on occasion? Yes, and I'm going to share with you a disaster that I had. So I had this brilliant idea. First of all, most of the time when I go on dates, and I am dating, this person was like, Amber, can I see your face? No. Oh no! No, you can't see my face. This is a podcast. There's no facing allowed today. Just close your eyes and imagine what I look like. By the way, I'm naked. That's why you can't see me right now. I'm not wearing any clothes. I'm sitting here completely naked. Ignore the shoes in the mirror. Those are in the pants, you see? Anyways, back to choosing to be celibate in this crazy little story that I'm going to tell you. Okay, so... I have experimented with the whole liberated sexual modern woman, meaning, like, I'm 40-something years old, and I've been married before, so I know what that's like, and I'm single, and so if I choose and decide that I want to have a lover, it should not be that big of a deal, right? I should be able to just go get one. Except for most of the time when I go on a date with a man, like, it's very rare that I actually am attracted to somebody that way. Like, I might think that they're really cool or even good looking, but it's really rare that I, like, think to myself, I really want to have sex with that person. It's just something I don't feel very often, for whatever reason. That doesn't mean that I don't have a strong libido or a diminished sex drive. It just means that, well, most of the time, it's difficult for me to find a man that I actually want to sleep with. It's just as simple as that. So once upon a time in my stint of being single, I met a guy that I don't think I necessarily wanted to have a relationship with, but I did have an attraction to him, and there was some chemistry. And it had been a long time, like about a year or so, right? And so I got to thinking to myself, maybe I could just choose to not be celibate and I could just sleep with this guy. And maybe we could just start something and it would be just fine, right? So I have this thought on the first date, and he tries to kiss me at the end of our first date. And I was like, no. I'm not kissing you, you're a stranger. Not because I'm trying to play hard to get, but I just really wasn't feeling the kiss, which is interesting. So, like, I'm thinking I might want to eventually have sex with the guy, but I don't want him to kiss me yet. How does that even go together? It's just the way it was going down. So I'm thinking about things. I'm considering it. He leans in for the kiss at the end of our first date. The answer is absolutely no, zero. It's just not going to happen. Okay, cool. So then we're texting after that. Text, 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 text. And I decide to take the texting in a more sexually charged direction. He decides to reciprocate. Cool. So now there's some sexual chemistry and some tension building between the two of us as we're sexting each other. So we're sexting each other. We haven't kissed yet. We're sexting each other. It's moving kind of fast. What is going to happen during our next meeting? Are we going to seal the deal? Or are we going to continue to court each other by not doing anything? So I meet him. I meet this guy for our second date, and I've already decided that that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be a liberated, modern woman, and I want to enjoy this man sexually. So I've made that decision. Oh boy, howdy. So then it goes like this. He tells me, we're supposed to go to his house. He tells me, I can't go to my house. My teenage daughter decided to come home. She's going to be home for the evening. It's just not going to work out. So I suggest we get a hotel room. That's what I suggest. I was like, this is an adventure. Let's have fun. Let's just go get a hotel room. So that's what we do. That's what we do. And this particular gentleman, now keep in mind, I haven't been with anybody in over a year. It's been a long time, right? And I've been waiting for the right person. And this guy, I think, you know what? He could be the right person for right now, right? That's what I was thinking. So we go to the hotel room. I'm feeling really proud of myself. Here we go, Amber. You're making this big decision here. You're doing something great. You're taking charge of your sexuality. You're going to go ahead and get your needs met. And I'm like, woohoo! I'm so empowered. This is so great. We go to the hotel room. And, when you haven't been with anybody in a while, especially if you, so you never know how long a man is going to last. Sometimes they don't last very long because they get extra excited, whatever. So he says, hey, it's okay. He was like, I'm one of those guys, I can just keep going and going and going and going and going. I might need a break for a minute, but I've got a good stamina. And I was like, well, that's great. So he's like, pumping himself up before the actual action. And I'm like, cool, that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to this. Let's go make some magic. Let's go make some magic. So this is what I can tell you. And this is the thing. The gentleman, well, he lasted 3 whole minutes. 3 minutes, which really, is understandable under the circumstances. 3-minute man. It's cool. 3 minutes. But this is where things went really bad for me. And I just every time I think about it, I just giggle because first of all, my reaction to how it happened. Oh boy. So this is how it went down. He lasted 3 minutes sexually, and then he rolls over and he was like, I just need a minute. And I was like, okay, cool. Take your minute. Everything's good. We can go again. And then he opens his mouth. And do you know what he says to me? He looks at me and he says, quote, I think we should have waited. I think we chose to have sex with each other too soon. Too soon. And I'm looking at him. And this is the part of me that's just a real dick, right? Sometimes maybe I'm not quite feminine enough. I'm not quite sweet enough. I'm not quite nurturing enough. I'm not quite understanding enough. I literally looked at him and I was like, you're fucking kidding me right now, right? You're joking? You wish I would have waited? We would have waited? And then he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm not that kind of guy. He says, I'm not usually the kind of guy that sleeps with somebody that I hardly know. And I looked at him and I was like, and I'm the kind of girl? What? I was like, look, here's the thing, buddy. I'm like, I'm not the kind of girl that just goes out and sleeps with fucking random strangers either. I haven't had sex in a year, and I've been waiting a long time for this. And I chose you. And then you last 3 minutes, you roll over and tell me you're having some sort of fucking moral epiphany that you shouldn't have sex with people you don't know and care about? Well, duh. I was like, we could have just enjoyed this moment. It could have been fucking great. And he was like, I'm sorry. I'm just too much in my head. I was like, too much in your head? I was like, what the fuck? And as I'm saying this, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like putting on my pants. I'm like, just fucking take me home. And he was like, no, no. He was like, we can just talk. I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I was like, I don't want to hear another thing you have to say. Just shut your mouth. Just fucking take me home. This is fucking ridiculous. Gah! I was so pissed. And then at one point he was like, I'm sorry, but I have feelings. And I was like, feelings? You don't have feelings, you're a man. I was like, did you forget that you're a man? Men do not have feelings. And he was like, yes, they do, Amber. Men do have feelings. What? Men have feelings? Oh, this is just bullshit. Everything I've learned is just wrong. So the moral of the story is keep your legs closed. This is what I know. Casual sex does not work for me. It never has, ever. That's why I don't have it very often, if ever. No, I mean, I have experimented. I did want to see, are the rules really the rules? And, how does that whole thing work out? I literally am giggling when I think about this. But, no, the rules are still the same. I remember when I was young, and again, my dad was giving me advice about the way that men really think. And he was like, Amber, if you want to be treated respectfully, and if you want to have somebody that truly cares and cherishes you, make sure they get a chance to truly know you before you choose to open yourself up intimately. And I really, truly believe that holds true regardless of whatever age you are. Again, being single in my 40s and choosing to date, you would think that I would be able to be like, okay, we're grown-ups now. Most of us have been married, you know what I mean? Like, you would think I would be able to just make a decision of like, okay, well, I don't know if we potentially have like long-term relationship potential, but, maybe we can enjoy each other just for right now. I'll tell you that logic really just doesn't hold true. Men are way more emotional than we think that they are, I think. Because I'm telling you, I think that men are more sensitive than we give them credit for, or at least I give them credit for. Um, as I make jokes, because I love to make jokes about hot topic items. Oh, literally my foot's asleep right now because I'm sitting on it. Hot topic, hot button items. I have this feeling that like someday he's gonna come out of the woodwork and he's gonna say #MeToo. Once upon a time, Amber Garibay, she made me feel uncomfortable. She made me sleep with her on the second date, and I wasn't ready. And then she was mean to me and yelled at me and told me that men don't have feelings. Do you think it will go down that way? Do you think someday, when I finally make something of myself, I'm going to have some man that's going to come out of the woodwork and tell the world that I emasculated him and I made him feel dirty because I objectified him sexually and I just wanted to use him like a tool? Because this is the thing. If that day ever comes, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I just wanted to grab him by the pussy. And yes, I know men don't have pussies. They're just dicks. Ow! Ugh. I'm grunting because I've been sitting on my foot and it's completely asleep. And now I have to go to the gym. So one of the things that I want for my life is I really love podcasts. I really love writing. I really love talking about things like relationships, love, sex, money, how the world really is when we're not sugarcoating it. And I love to make jokes about it, especially. So, advice for the day, a couple days before Christmas. Allow yourself the experience of time. The time to really explore what true intimacy is with somebody. And true intimacy is kind of like the art of being an amazing geisha. It's way more complicated and intricate and delicate than sex. Intimacy and being near somebody, and it's a pretty powerful thing. So, on that happy note, I've been chatting this whole topic up. I'll be writing a whole bunch about this stuff, especially now that I've decided to continue pursuing my ultimate goal. And my ultimate goal, I mean, I'm 6 years into this. I decided, I was like, hey, I want to write. I want to be a writer. I love blogging. I love talking about this kind of stuff. I love writing about it, and I'm a hopeless romantic mushy sap, which is really difficult in this era of the Facebook hookups and dating apps, sexting apps. I mean, like, there is something to be said about true courtship, true love, taking your time to get to know somebody, and old-fashioned standards and values. Everything that I learned when I was young in regards to men and how they really are has held true to this day. There are women that men just want to sleep with, and then there are women that men choose to love. And at the end of the day, I would prefer to be a woman that somebody loves and not somebody that is just being used for sex. So my sexual liberation, personally, is to choose to abstain until I meet somebody that I truly connect with, and to not give myself away cheaply. That's how I feel about it. So on that happy note, I'm going to go to the gym to get myself in shape so that when I finally do fall in love, I'll feel really good about being naked. The life you live is a choice. May your day be filled with smiles. It's almost Christmas. The gift you should give yourself is to absolutely enjoy this beautiful day. And it is a beautiful day. Okay, bye.